Hi, welcome to the pod. Thanks for taking a seat with us today. You're here with Ban and Heidi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is a safe space for you to join in on our real life, everyday conversations where we often and always find ourselves discussing women in sport, Paralympic sport, and of course, sitting volleyball. So, as you can tell, we are not together in person. We love a distant episode.
A little virtualness, a little bit of sun in my eyes, all the
Yeah.
things.
But your Wi-Fi is working, so that's good.
I hope so.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Hi, everyone. And hi, Ben.
It's been a while. It's been
a hot minute.
while.
But nobody knows that.
No, because no one listens.
You know what? It doesn't matter, and it's our podcast, so we get to do whatever we want, and it's our rules. So
You're right. How
here we
long
are.
ago, though, did we record?
I believe middle of May. I think pre-Denver.
Okay. So we've had 3 events since then.
So the whole year happened.
Yeah. The whole season.
After that.
And then
we're
back.
Yeah.
And then we took a season break.
We said
an extra.
See you around. You know what? That's okay. It was a something year, and it's okay. I think now I'm prepared to talk about it. It's like hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. When we were in the middle of it, I'm like, don't talk to me in August and September.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah, it was
Here we are. So I mean, that is the first question. We're back, but where did we go? Nowhere really.
We took a long, mysterious break from the podcast, and maybe at times we thought it was impossible to do it again, and other times like, oh yeah, we can do this.
Easy.
It's easy.
Simple.
Exactly.
This
I was
is easy.
like, do I even know how to plug in my mic? Is it working? We hope so.
We hope so.
But yeah, I think things were hard and a lot, and we had some, I don't know, personal ups and downs, and then with the team and a rebuild, and maybe that's where we can start. Not everyone knows that's listening, but we had some athlete and staff turnover after Paris, and just a lot of time was spent on that.
And a lot of mental energy, and that's not to say good or bad. It's just was a lot to think about and deal with, and every volleyball experience or camp or training felt a lot heavier for me personally, new team, new role, more leadership, more thinking. I needed a whole year, I guess, to settle into that classic Heidi fashion. So, feeling better now, but it was hard. I'll just say that, but it was good too. I love volleyball, but
exactly, you do. I think we said last time, 1 million years ago, when we did a We're Back episode, Pump Fake, I think we talked about you being the captain, but did we?
I don't know if we did, because the episode that we recorded and never released, we talked about leadership, and our follow-up was going to be about leadership. So I don't know if we intentionally did
another hidden episode.
We have a top secret hidden episode. There was just 2. It was just the We're Back, Pump Fake, and Caitlin. Was all we did.
Okay, so we did do something.
Correct. We did 2 things.
Okay.
So yeah, I believe that was in the vein and the theme of what we were talking about. So I guess if the peoples don't know, and the listeners don't know, I am the captain, but I mean, here we are. Surprise. So that's been fun. It's been a journey.
Okay, so let's take us through being announced captain. It feels like it happened ages ago, but we talked a little bit about post-Paris, but captain, the group you're leading, the differences from before.
Yeah.
Talk about a little bit about that.
Yeah. I did a coaching clinic a couple days ago, and I brought it up or was asked about it and talked about it a little, just talking to them about leadership. And I really believe in leading from every position that you're in. You can be a leader no matter what. So I think I've just been developing that confidence and those skills no matter what. I think we all have had that in a vein on our team. So I have always seen myself as a leader in some capacity. So in that vein, it's not such a huge jump. And obviously having been around for so long, for oh my gosh, 12 and a half years. And just being one of the only returning and stable LOL players. So it's a huge honor and a privilege, and I don't take lightly wearing the stripe and being that voice for everybody and being that like leader and consistency and etc. So it's a huge dynamic shift from having people who've been with the program previously for everybody at least like 7+ years probably to like now people who joined maybe a little before Paris to new athletes in the program to athletes who've never played sitting volleyball. The range is huge again and fresh. So it's and a range of experience in sport, experience in high performance sport, all of that muddled together. It sometimes feels like herding kittens, but I think it's getting a lot better. And it's a unique dynamic, but I think as a person who naturally is conflict avoidant and like doesn't like to make decisions quickly or like to be black and white, like I think I just have leaned a lot on my confidence in the sport, both on and off court, and my voice, and I feel a lot more settled, and I can literally tell that I feel better at it because my heart rate doesn't like jump every time I have to like say something. So yeah, that's
okay. Let's set the stage a little bit here. So correct me if I'm wrong, but there are 5 athletes who have returned from the Paris roster. And we're not going to get into all the details, but we have some athletes who are taking breaks, might be coming back, are still in the team. Some athletes who have retired, but 5 athletes. Are you counting in your head? Which means on a roster of 12, that's 7 athletes who were not with us in Paris. Some have varying levels of experience, have come back to the team from playing before, etc., etc. And we did have some athletes come back to training camps that retired after Tokyo. Amber, for example, is on the team again. So we do have mixed levels of understanding of the game. And then we have about 4 new athletes to sitting volleyball. 4 or 5.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's a very mixed group. And you alluded to it and said it was like, okay, people had 7+ years of experience and then a few new people. That's a lot different.
It's true.
Overall.
Yeah.
For lack of better term, vibe on the court and understanding and high performance culture, then so it's nothing against this group, but that's what you were coming into when it was like, okay, Heidi, lead, let's go.
No, I love context.
And from the group of people who were in Paris, the starting athletes were yourself, Jolanne, Allison played in the past with liberoed out. Caitlin had to roll liberoed out, and Jen McCreesh rolled liberoed out when she would play, super comfortable in the front row. And that's the athletes who are now on the court playing all the way around.
Playing 6 rotations, yeah.
Playing 6
Full
rotations, much more volume. Pressure's being put on in all circumstances. So that's just giving some context for the team now. And we've grown so much. And that's why I wanted to start with that is, so first event now in May, we go to the zonal championships in Denver. Well, we know how it went, but I want to share a little bit with how leading was there and how the event went. We played Brazil and USA multiple times. Yeah. And that's where it ended because we did not make it any farther than that.
Because we lost all those games. So, yeah. I mean, going in, it was kind of like, well, we'll just see how it goes, right? Like, well, this is just the first.
Did you have an outcome expectation? Like, even if you're thinking per set? Because I know I told you guys trust the process. Like, I knew what I thought, but...
I think, like, if I was happy with, like, 15.
Okay, you didn't go in expecting like, oh, maybe we're going to win a set.
No.
Or we're going to push. Okay.
No. I think sometimes that can like surprise you because like with a new team, it takes an opponent a minute to adjust. Like you have that little small period of it being better than it actually is. I think my goal was to get to 15.
Yeah. Okay.
Each time.
We didn't do that. Definitely. And I think
not every
it was
time.
Like...
That's exactly what I said. It started hot and everyone's like, it's not that hard. I'm like, it's really hard. Like, wait for tomorrow.
I know.
Come back. The USA's like, game like done.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Such a sport, but I can take that tiny little lens onto the whole year and see everybody's experience of that, thinking it's like easier, not thinking it's easier, but like having it be successful early and then it just continually getting harder. And I mean, that's just like the nature of sport. But in Denver, it was just lots of, I mean, like chaos and people finding different roles. I mean, I'll give a lot of credit to Julia, just like having to go in and set and just like what is setting, right? Like she's just like, doing it. And we're just like basically telling her what to do and giving her a long leash to do her thing. And I think just like a lot of voices and uncertainty and just like finding myself in that and when to talk. And obviously Jolanne being a libero, you're not like there all the time. It's a different like level of voice. So how to lead, how to direct. She's super comfortable directing the back row and having that natural like calm energy. But I think it's not natural for her to talk so much or lead so much like on the court outside of maybe a servicing capacity. So just both of me and her like feeding off of each other. And I think by the end it was like, okay, like nobody's allowed to talk except for like me and Jolanne between a point, right? Just so simple, like break it down.
Ask,
so
when was it after the event though that I like straight up said that? So for people as well that are listening, Jen Oakes and Sarah Malenka have been our setters for the past quad. They're incredible. They're super talented. And now we have Julia, who was with us a little bit before Paris, but super athletic, strong, amazing athlete. But we put her in a setting role, which is not something she's done before playing volleyball. And Amber, who's come back, who set before as well. A little bit more quiet of an athlete by nature, knows the game, has coached quite a bit in her time away from the team, so she understands things very well. But we're putting two people in roles, big shoes to fill, and then we're changing all the systems, changing the lineups almost every day, making you guys guess.
Yeah.
And so it's finding that balance of setters usually speak a lot, control the rotations, and then I remember it just being a little bit chaotic. So I can't remember exactly when I said, okay, Heidi's the captain.
Yeah.
She's going to speak when we come in on the court. Jolanne's going to control the receive.
Exactly. Did that happen between games or after the event?
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of all of the above.
Probably. And then after we went through it again at the next training camp, it's like, I think everyone was like, oh, I can breathe. I can focus on my role.
No, seriously. And I think Joe is the one who was like, yeah, we can't. This isn't sustainable. Because as simple as her like trying to control a block and nobody listening. As simple as like
nobody can hear me.
A setter being frustrated. That's like attackers are choosing their own calls, right? Because it's like a new set. So just different things like that. And it was like it was like 3 steps. Like come in, like know your set call, listen. Like Jolanne's controlling the pass, and nobody speak. If there's anything else to say, it's like I'll be the one to say it. And so, it just created some much more comfortability. People focused on their own roles. Obviously, we can't be islands, and you have to be still playing together. But I think that just, as simple as it sounds, is just like a stepping stone to literally playing volleyball. But that's where we were at and what it took and what we learned. I think at that.
And it might sound like so simple and like, oh, they're taking away the voice of athletes. No, not by any means are we taking away people's voices. In our debriefs, in our conversations before the matches, everyone has a voice. Everyone can give opinions. We talk a lot one-on-one with our athletes. Our setters have a setter coach. But in those moments of pressure, when we're feeling completely overwhelmed, which we were, then we were guiding toward our leaders to find our voice and make sure that we're talking. And I think that's really important to clarify because
good.
It's not how we really want our
adds
team
comfortability.
To be.
Yeah. Great point.
And the other piece was, for people that are listening, the zonal. We could talk a little bit about the zonal. There's 2 big things I would say were negative. There's many, but at every event, that's the reality. But 2 big things that were negative were it was loud. So we were playing amongst courts, I don't know, like 50 plus courts inside a big gym. So
like an exhibition hall.
Yeah, at another event. I believe it was an adult tournament. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I was like, I don't actually remember. And also playing on sport court. So it was very loud and it's also not easy to move. And now we're like, oh, new team, new setters, let's play. So let's explain the sport court a little bit from being an athlete and shocking to me, absolutely shocking to me that people were surprised it's hard as sitting volleyball athletes to move on sport court and that it can pinch your fingers.
I mean, for people listening, if you don't know what sport court is, it's like squares laid down, maybe like.
They're not so big.
I don't know, like the size of your whole hand, like finger to bottom of palm, like. Squares like laid down. Yeah, thank you for the visual.
Tiles.
Tiles. That's a great way to describe it. And so they have natural like little gaps
plastic.
and they're like plastic. So they like are not hardwood, are not like a Terraflex squishy like volleyball typical court. So they just are hard to move on, and your fingers get stuck in between, your nails get stuck. People are like, "Oh,
Your
how do your nails get
fabric of
stuck?"
your
I'm like, "Not
clothes.
just me." Yeah, your pants, your shirt, everything, and it's just not. It's not the floor. And it's hard on your joints. Like even indoor volleyball players don't like playing on it because it's hard to jump on. Especially it's usually laid down over concrete. It's not very absorbent. So not a great floor. Don't love it. And I believe this was also like an older court too. So more worn down, more gaps in the tiles. So that feedback was given apparently for the first time and received. And moving forward we'll get there, but at World Cup in October we had Terraflex, which is not sport court,
Girth
which
floor,
is
Terraflex,
Girth floor, what you
same.
see indoor volleyball games played on professionally and what we play on at the Paralympics, which should just be the standard court and is what we're moving towards. But it was this huge revelation that we didn't like playing on sport courts. And
I think
I mean,
most of our zonals were on sport court before that. And
yeah,
I swear I said something every time, but not to the right people.
Correct. So it made its way to the right
Thank you. Yeah.
people and names somehow. And that feedback was taken. Honestly shocked. So
it was great.
Yeah. And again, we'll get to World Cup, but kudos to that local organizing for also taking on the cost of buying Terraflex because it's not cheap. So
no,
glad they made it happen.
And when you play sitting volleyball, like pushing and using your limbs, so if this is my foot or my arm, and pushing, and you should be able to slide like half a meter or 30 centimeters, something. And on sport court, it's like, boom, and you just feel like you're like hitting a wall with your butt. And you don't go anywhere.
Or like you can do the put, but you can't, there's no like,
you can't keep going.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, it's like, boom.
I mean, the men probably hate it less because they don't really like move.
They don't.
As much.
They're big. Right?
They don't slide
bigger, so,
as much.
Yeah.
They use their arms, so it's different. But for the women's game, it's a no bueno.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But, so lots to improve on from that.
For us, for sure, as event.
A team. Yeah. And well, that's, that too. Personally, professionally, logistically.
So we hit the ground not going far at that event. And
I was like,
no, going nowhere. Like we enjoyed each other's company. We built a lot. I think we built on cohesion because that was a big thing, being a new group. It was the first time traveling as a team. A lot was happening off court, a lot to manage, I'm sure, as the captain. And then we went to the Dutch tournament, which is in, I'm going to say it wrong, but Assen in the Netherlands. And I think it's our favorite tournament. So court-wise, playing-wise, I'm not sure things took a big turn, but I think we liked the event. I think it was a little bit maybe
I mean, another opportunity to travel and, figure out those dynamics. Yeah, struggle. Again, I think literally, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know what our team goal was if we had one. Probably my goal is to get over 15 points and just like build on that, like directing traffic on court, like just build on that and see where it went. But I mean, we lost to the Netherlands, right, in 5, and that was a stab to the heart.
It took us back to 2018 World Championships.
And like good for them.
They're growing.
They're rebuilding. They're huge. They're great ball control. They serve like that. No shot at them. But there's also a little PTSD, right, to where I've been before in very similar matches against the same opponent. So personally, that was a hard one and a bit like eye-opening, but also similar to some other experiences at that tournament as well in previous years in team reflections.
Exactly.
So
and we always learn and we always get better.
Exactly.
I remember we had a team meeting that night and everyone came and we like hashed a few things out. I'm pretty sure I took away game planning from the team and I asked like,
no more game plans.
How do is it too much? Yes was the answer. Okay, we can't keep doing that. We need to focus on ourselves. What can I say was the conversation because it was, I think, talking over a lot of people. We had 2 new assistant coaches.
That team. Yeah, I don't know where we were. Up top there. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And it was just...
Yeah, I was in a terrible mood.
Not being rude, but it was like, okay, guys, how do we work together? When we're serve receiving, what information can we handle? When we're serving, what information can we handle? And then, Heidi's going to speak about this. Jolanne's going to speak about this. and then just play. In between the whistles, let's go. I'm not sure if it got better. I think a little bit. We played France and then Italy again for the second time after that meeting.
Oh, yeah.
But
Weird
that was
layout.
important,
Yeah.
the meeting. Yeah.
And I mean,
Somehow
it's
we played Italy. Oops. Sorry.
oops. So much Italy.
Sorry to them.
Literally, sorry to them. Yeah. It's just funny in hindsight. I'm like, obviously the meeting matters in the moment and what you say in the moment matters. But in hindsight, it's like, it was just like a touch point for connection, right? It's really not about what we actually said. It just was important to not go off in the evening and like pretend like you didn't just have the worst day ever.
Yeah, and be pissed
like
and hide.
Yeah. So try to do something different. And I think that's something we like do well, though it doesn't maybe always turn around, or it takes us a long time to implement things, but it's we don't really like shy away from that, and we do want to get better. So I mean, kudos to us, I guess, for that.
Well, remember the night before we watched a video on ourselves and we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this better, we're gonna do this better, we're gonna do this better, and then like none, we did nothing better. So we were like, hey, we're not gonna do video. That's when the game planning, like all of that. And we were like, we're just gonna talk. And I think we like really, I don't remember what we said or how we went around the group, but we hashed it out, and then it was connected. Exactly what you're saying, which is one of our values. We leaned into it.
It was like, I don't remember. We each had to say one thing we're gonna change, one thing. I don't know.
I have not a clue anymore.
I just remember not being in a good mood.
Were you in a better mood after it ended?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a chance for you to lead.
Exactly, that's why I was
I think you crushed
annoyed.
it. My memory tells me you did amazing. I have no idea.
No, because I said something and then you were like mad at me.
Mad, or I just jumped in?
You just were like, challenged me on it, and then I was like irritated. And then it was fine. So
you're a leader. It's new.
But I just like after, like I was like close to last, so then I have so much time to think, and I was like trying to like process what everyone's saying and then still choose my. It was like a whole
But
annoying.
That's something you're working.
And then I was like, I want to be right. I want to like say the right thing. I want to like trying to be perfect. And you're like, what are you saying?
Okay, that's
and I was like, this is what I mean. You're like, there we go.
Thank you. And that's exactly where I was going to take
literally forgot how to talk.
We can move into World Cup a bit. We can also talk about our dynamics. So I know you very well. We have a podcast. I've coached you for 10 years, and it's a new role for you. Yeah, in being a leader. And in the past, we've had conversations where you weren't the captain, but you would say something, and then because I'm comfortable with you, I'd counter it and say like, Heidi, what about this? Challenging you, and you're like, hey, that's like a bit too much. So we've had those conversations, and so we have back and forth, and it's great that you're comfortable to do that. And I've now said, like, you're the captain, so I'm going to challenge you, but I never want to overstep. And so it's like finding that balance. And this was kind of maybe before we had that full conversation, because I was giving you kind of room to grow and
figure it out.
But I'm like, stop thinking, because I know you. I just watched the wheels turning. And then you always say, oh, I was going to say what you said. I know. So just say it. And that's
so do that.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's a huge improvement from July to October. October? When were we there?
October.
Sometime in October at World Cup, where you're like, oh, I'm starting to just say what I think. I'm starting to feel more comfortable. And you were challenged at World Cup a little bit. It wasn't only about you, but about the debriefs, right? Like, we just said we want to give everyone a voice, but when we're doing debriefs, so everyone's aware, we do a debrief after every game, we give a rating, blah, blah, blah. No one needs to know. And the details. But I kind of said, let's have the leaders' voices a little bit louder, just like I take it on as the coach, because we do a coaching side and an athlete side. And you were like, probably annoyed again a little bit, like, oh, great idea. And then from there on, I heard you say like the next day, okay, and we're going to pick a 4 and the numbers were all over. And I was like, oh, good job, Heidi. Yeah, it wasn't a 4. The maths wasn't mathing. But you took it on, and everyone nodded and agreed, and then the group buys in.
Yeah,
and then they're going in the direction that you, as an experienced athlete on this team, know and want. And I've said that to you. You have the ability as the leader with the team to take this team wherever you want, and whatever that looks like. And that's exciting, and that's new.
Very.
And we had a really strong leader in Danielle, who by nature was going to be quick to say what she thinks. She was
Mhm.
very
Yep.
organized, very like
Yep.
that's her personality. And then later me and her would like talk through it and work through some things. I'm sure
Mhm.
you and her too.
Mhm.
And you're a
Yep.
little bit of the
Lots.
opposite.
Yep.
And so I would lend myself, as I've gotten more comfortable
Mhm.
coaching, to like Danielle's side. I'm like, I'm gonna
For
say it,
sure.
and then I'm like, oh, okay, let's dial it
Yep.
back a bit.
Yep.
Let's have that
Absolutely.
conversation. But I think different leadership styles are so important, and it's exciting to see you, hey, I'm not even thinking anymore, I'm saying. Or my teammates
Yeah.
are saying I'm a little bit too aggressive. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what you want. And then other teammates like, oh no, but I meant I liked it. Oh no, but
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
gave me that direct
Yeah.
feedback. And I'm hearing that too from them. So that's awesome. And it's just finding where you fit, because you're only going to be able to lead like yourself, which might be a little bit more thinking, and that's okay.
I mean, 2 things from that. I think the through line, I'm like, "Don't cry." Like, talk about Danielle.
Oh,
The through line is like, and I think you've used this language a lot too, but like, I just wanna be a player that, like, makes people beside me better, but that people wanna play beside. Like,
hmm
I want you to, like, choose me to be on your team for 2v2, like, that type of, like, person that you wanna play beside that makes you better
exactly.
and that you wanna be your teammate. Like, that's a huge through line and what I think when I think of Danielle, like, she's, like, yes, leading with words, but also leading by example and is just a competitor,
hmm hmm
like, by nature, and she's just someone I wanna play with, and I trust.
Agreed.
So, huge, that makes me emotional to think about. Almost forgot my second point.
We love you, Danielle.
Oh, I love you, Danielle. Um, oh, yeah, the second point is even seeing my own growth through saying, "Oh, now, like, just being comfortable to speak quickly," like, a huge lesson, we did talked about this in my debrief meeting, is, like,
hmm
having grace for yourself and being, like,
hmm
proud of that learning, and I think I think about that and hear that, and was immediately disappointed or immediately, like, frustrated at
Exactly.
myself that I'm like, "Oh, I could like, why didn't I just do that, like, in Denver? Like, why didn't I just do that 3 years ago?" Instead of being like, "Wow, I'm proud, like, I got there, and I did that, and I made some of those changes
Exactly.
myself without being told, like, I just did it, I figured it out." Instead of being proud, I was frustrated, but I think in hindsight, that's a huge, like, lesson I've learned, and I am really proud of myself for
hmm
that, and it's impossible to be frustrated at that and be productive, so having that grace
Yeah.
and has been
Huge. Well, and
literally
I would
life-changing.
have said something in Denver if I noticed
Yeah.
it and thought
Yeah.
that now was the time for you to kind
Mhm.
of grab the leadership. But I
Yeah.
didn't notice it, and it's where we were
Yeah.
at, right? And the other piece is I've said, if you wanna be great, you need to be challenged, and
Mhm.
it's gonna look different if I'm challenging you
Yeah.
versus Caitlin versus brand new athletes on the team, Anna, Natasha, Chelsea, all these new athletes, Kira, who I'm just getting to know. It's gonna look different, and everyone else in between, but I think that we do know each other, and so it's very easy for you to be hard on yourself right away, but it's also very easy for you to be like, "Hey, Bam, what did you mean by that?" 'Cause there was no intention of, "Oh, you should have known that." It doesn't even cross my mind that you would think that, and then when you said that when we were meeting for our post-World Cup one-on-ones, two-on-ones, whatever they are, individual meetings, you said that, I was like, "What?" Like, why are you disappointed? One, you don't give it off with your face so much, you look
Yeah.
more annoyed, but now I know, okay, that's you being
Yeah.
hard on yourself, and who cares? Of course you don't know. I don't know what I didn't know 10 years ago, and I don't know what I'm gonna learn tomorrow when someone tells me. So, like, okay, of course we care. So that's maybe the wrong statement, but I'm giving you a very large, I don't want to say leash, but
Yeah. Yeah. Weird word.
right? Very
We need a better
large,
metaphor.
yeah, someone help me,
And
space to grow.
and I think it's the, like, the increased comfortability with speaking is, like, and I think about this with Danielle too, like, all the credit to her, like, when you're the leader, you're the person who has to say the thing that everybody needs to hear, and it doesn't make me wanna hear, but they'll still follow you.
Mhm.
And, like, you said this example about, like, speaking differently on court or, like, doing that debrief, and, like, I just chose a number that was not what my teammates chose.
But
But they're
everyone
like, "Yeah,
started
for sure,"
nodding.
right? So it's just, like, increased comfortability with that, and, like, that's just, like, what being a leader is, and just being okay to do that, and I think my second point to that is we've recently talked about this, and shouldn't say recently, lot, but always just saying, like, "You have my back," right? Like,
Mhm.
it's so incredible to have that relationship, like, with my coach, with you, with staff, all my assistant coaches as well. So, like, I can't imagine. I don't know if that exists in other teams. I'm not saying that, but to have that transparency and vulnerability with you guys, and just know that I can always go to leaders who I value and look up to, and that you guys have my back in that too. I'm not just like an island unto myself, like the captain. It's a working title, working job.
Mm-hmm. And I think, well, with us, it goes both ways. Yeah. When I go too far, I say the wrong thing, I know you'll have my back as well, or you'll probably just nod and do it. Maybe go first and then do it. But the same goes for the whole team. And I said that at World Cup before one of the matches. I was like, remember, like, we have each other's back. We're here to push. We are our second family. And at the end of the day, that's across the board for any athlete that I'm coaching. But the ability to be able to push, like we can push you as a leader and know that you can take it and then we can reflect on it later is really, really important. I think that's unique with leadership. And you have to be really, really vulnerable to be like, okay, it's not personal. They want me to be better.
Yeah.
And they do have my back at the end of the day. So it'll continue to evolve, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I mean, this whole like forward backwards jumping, but just some increased context for everybody. Like after our Netherlands tournament, then we didn't really we had some break, some time in July, and then came back at the end of August for training camp, and that was so hard. That camp. I think I cried every day. And you couldn't tell you why. I couldn't tell you what we worked on in the parking lot.
I was like, send help. And then Anika pissed you off more.
And then she overcompensated. Tried to make it a mental performance lesson. I was like, I'm actually mad at you. She's like teaching me new skills.
I just walked away. I was like, see you on the court.
I was like, I'm mad at this, and Caitlin's like not really saying anything because she just hugged me, and Onika's like has no idea what's going on. You're like, no fucking shit. She's mad. Like,
I was like,
walks into the gym. It's like, thank you. That's what I needed. Thank you.
But I'm also like, Heidi, it's not that big of a deal. You're like, it's not. I'm like, get over yourself. Let's go. You're like, whoa.
And you're like, I just need to cry, and that's it.
Yeah, I didn't say it like that, but I meant like, we're bad and it's hard and you're sucking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, and you're sucking.
I'm like, you were mad. You
can't score, can't serve, can't pass, can't do anything.
I'm like, okay.
So irritated. Am I a setter? Am I a hitter? Am I like
exactly?
Like everything is hard. Yeah, no, and like people are probably like, "Are you guys okay?"
Exactly.
Yes, like Madness knows me so well. She's like, she's gonna cry. Like some people yell. Some people want to maybe punch something. I just want to sit in my car and cry
and listen to City
in Color.
Yeah, but wasn't it Jesse McCartney one time?
Oh, it was. I listened to Jesse McCartney the whole way to practice. And cried. Beautiful soul. Cried.
I was like, send help.
It was the last day of camp. You're like, 4 more hours. We got this.
Just get through it.
So fast forward 1 month. September camp.
Yeah.
Way better. Crushed it. Introduced some gameplay. We did.
Yeah, we played a lot.
Yeah, we did like jersey session 6-on-6. Brought some people out to play against because like we need that.
Where are the peoples?
Where are the people? Sidebar, we should start a sitting volleyball league in Canada. Because we just don't have competition experience. So we normally do this before a competition, and got to play in the jerseys. It ups the game a little bit, and etc. So, and it was good. Crushed it. Again, I don't remember what the goals or focus were. Probably serve and servicey and aggressive attacking. And
strategic attacking.
It was and it was
less errors.
Green,
Didn't
yellow,
translate.
red. Yeah, sometimes.
To World
One
Cup.
set, not one. September camp was great.
I'm joking.
And was happy.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to October. I believe we were gone the 8th to 19th. And I was really nervous that like September camp wouldn't transfer. I was stressed. I'm like, what if like September camp was our peak, right? And we come back down.
We're back to the zone.
Oh shoot. Because it could happen. Hopefully, that transfers over, and I mean, I think it did, at least to start. Mm-hmm. But such is the nature of a tournament and a tougher opponent. But I was really proud. We played in order: Germany, Italy, USA, Brazil, Netherlands, Italy. The last Italy game was.
You missed
Oh, and
one
USA.
USA game.
USA and then Italy.
Italy.
Yeah.
Semifinal.
Semi and a bronze.
Bronze.
Yeah. Oops. Blackout. So lots of volleyball every day, playing good games. And such a different nature of a tournament than the zonal, where it's the same opponent a couple times, or like the Netherlands tournament where it's, I mean, it doesn't matter, but it matters. And you're playing only over 3 days. So like an actual World Cup event where it's once a day, you have warm-up courts, like we have much more different tournament structure. And I think overall it was good. And if our focus was process and our focus was honestly thinking first contact, serve, pass, like try to score when you can, I think the focus on that was mostly good, though lots of reminders, ups and downs. But gotta decrease those errors. Hey, gotta learn to attack against a double block, maybe.
Yeah, I just finished our On the Podium presentation yesterday. Who knows when this will come out, but it's literally assessing our gaps. And I presented for an hour on our gap analysis over 11 slides. So I am fresh on the numbers. We're not going to talk about them now, but if we can target what we've always talked about in our winning style of play, that I think everyone watching would know the style that Canada plays and we've traditionally played, over time, we will, by nature, decrease our errors and start scoring more points. But it's a work in progress. And we executed another piece was to execute a game plan. And I think we did a very, very good job of that at the beginning of the tournament, especially. And the harder part was when you play teams a second time. So being able to then adjust and execute a slightly different but the same game plan with the opponent knowing what you're going to do. And that's in the past what we've struggled with if you think back to like 2022 and before, but then 23, 24, I think we always did a better job the second time we played teams, and now it's learning to do that again. So I think that's a success too. We followed the process. We couldn't even talk about game plans in July.
Yeah, we're revoked.
And now we're in October. We're executing a new game plan that Nadine worked on, our new analyst. She's awesome. I don't know if she'll listen to this, but she's great.
Shout out.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out. And yeah, I think it was amazing. But hard to get fourth, of course. But
hard to get fourth.
That's just a little bit of ego when we,
Yeah, it's so very interesting to think about your goal going in and then you're at the end, how you feel. And I'm like, we achieved our goal if you want to like focus on outcome.
Well, like last night,
I think if you told me that before the event, I'd be like, I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Exactly. Last night after the presentation, where like texts are going around, and hopefully he doesn't mind me saying his name on here, but Kerry McDonald, I don't know his exact title, Chief Sport Officer.
Feels right.
Chief Sport Officer for Volleyball Canada. Anyways, he's awesome. He's been involved with was the high performance director in the past. He's coached teams in the past. Just a smart volleyball guy. He was listening on the call as well, and he just messaged after. He's like, if there's one bit of feedback, we're too humble. It's unheard of for a team sport to have 3 returning starters and finish 4th at a World Cup. I was like, ooh, that hits. I was like, I tried to start saying, like, out of all the years I've coached this program, it's one of the most, like, I had to work, and I'm super proud. I don't think I can say, I'm more proud of than a bronze medal, but it's way up there, and that's how I tried to start. And I'm like, okay, but it didn't land that, like, we still crushed it. Because they look at, you beat Italy first time, and you did the second. He's like, I hope they understood that message. I was like, thanks. And that's why you're great and you're a leader.
Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Carrie. And true. Love perspective. Love different.
Exactly.
I think that we've touched a little bit on how we like the challenge or embrace the challenge or want to get better. And I think that's special. And who just wants to be stagnant at something? Yeah. I'm not saying everybody wants to be, but some teams are and some people are. And I think it's like unique unto this group. And like one example we could give is like in May when we played the US twice, Brazil twice at the zonal, and then we had 2 more days there. We're like, let's practice. I think did we practice 3 times? 2 or 3 times after we were
practicing.
And so I just think that's one example, because it would be easy to just be like done, have fun and go tour around Denver and do
sightseeing.
whatever and go like watch the men's games or do whatever. And we're like, no, let's practice. All the things that are a struggle. And whether that's our drive to want to do it or you guys booking the time and saying we're practicing, those are two different things. But I think the buy-in was there, and I think those were good practices and good sessions. And I think that just sets the tone and is an example of that we want to improve.
Well, when you're bad, I think the motivation or externally the numbers look bad and the scores at the zonal, I think the motivation is there to improve. And of course, as coaches, we just book these sessions and we ask the leaders, like, hey, what do you guys think? Of course, you guys were like, we're doing it.
Let's
so
go.
Everyone followed, just like we've been talking about. And I remember challenging people at that first practice of like, okay, I've been really quote unquote soft and nice to start this season, but we got to push. We got to push, and I'm going to put a little bit of external pressure. You just felt it from the opponents. And I remember people's faces at that practice, like, and it's like, oh, can we do this? Can we handle this? And I think then after that we got back home, we trained. I don't remember how much of a break we had, but we trained, and I think it was like a little bit more of the same, like not so hard, like, okay, this is a new group, like baby steps forward. Then we went to Austin and more of the same happened, and we were like, okay. And reflecting and looking at the gap analysis, it's like, no. We've got to train and coach and train, but as a coach, I can set practice plans, I can bring the tone, I can make sure that everyone understands that the bar needs to be higher. And so it's no longer coaching, and not that we were, but let's not coach to the lowest denominator. We got to coach to where we need to get to. And so that's even above where you would be as the leader. Like, no, we got to push. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep moving forward. And that's hard. And that's hard to be in a practice like that or in a culture like that. So I think a lot of athletes, if they come into our gym, it would seem really negative and really hard. I don't think the demeanor of how we act is hard, right? But it's constantly, this can be constructive criticism. Yeah, always, right? Like, think about sessions with Pierre. So we have a technical coach, Pierre. He worked with me. Maybe we'll do a whole podcast episode on him.
Maybe we'll have him
worked with me. Yeah, he worked with me on my Master of Coaching. He's a biomechanist. He's awesome. He's working with our program. And you just do new hitting techniques or new passing techniques or whatever skill we're working on that day. And it's like, no, not like that. Again. Oh, that one was good. And he's super positive and he makes people feel good, but he has the iPad, he has the video, and he's going to tell you.
Like, that's for an example, like we do attacking every day, but getting further off the net. Okay, I'm doing 2 pushes to get off the net. We'll talk specifically in the left side. And when I like do my second push, I pivot and put my right foot back, but then I kind of like have it beside me and I kind of like pull a little like with my heel before I push.
Yeah.
So specific, but it's like negative movement. It doesn't matter or make me go anywhere. And he's like on me about it the whole time. Like, I'm sure that's not happening. I know it's not happening in other gyms and in other
and a lot
teams.
of people are just looking like, okay, if you're working on a line shot, did you hit the line? Okay, great. Good job, Heidi. It's like, no, that's not. You hit the line. And it's still not good enough. And
where
for
was
you
my
to
left
be able
hand?
to
Where
take,
was my, how much was I leaning? What was my time? Like, everything. So,
and you got to be willing to take it and then just next. And it's not easy to train in that environment. And then every single drill you do with an outcome has 2 points for something. You don't get the 2 points. Why aren't you hitting the 2 points? It's just constantly the type of environment that we train in and we live in is hard. And I think that's great. Starts with a serve, has a pass, like simulates the game. If there's a free ball or a down ball, it's because you've earned it. Looks like the game. I don't know. I think that creating situations where it's hard, whether you add cue reading, you add thinking, or you add some type of outcome or shot or skill that you need to do, makes it a lot harder for the athletes playing. And you guys are just used to that every single day.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm also used to practicing like that because that's all we've known. But we, as I joked earlier, we don't have a club league here, right? So we're like not playing as much. So different countries, different nations, different teams are supplementing
there we go.
their national team training with like club or with more competition opportunity and less training. Not to say they're not technically sound. That's not what I mean. No. But just the type of training is more gameplay where we just we just train. We practice all year and then we only play when we compete.
Which is hard. Yeah. But it's a different mentality and it's a different way. But anyways, I think and I think we went away from it. We were working on technical so much after a break after Paris and implementing some new technical things. We went away from like this hard, ugly, self-critical, because we have also video delay in all of our trainings that you can like turn and look at. And so it's not like, oh no, coach, I didn't do that. It's like, well, it's right there if you need to see it. We have the video at the back with Nadine now coding everything live in our practices. So there's a lot of external pressure, which is what you said at September camp was positive, right? You're like, oh, it felt good. Well, all those pressures are still there. It's just August, you were living in it and you were upset and crying to release your extra emotion versus just living with it and being like, oh, it's ugly. I will come out of this. And that's that confidence and that belief in yourself, which you talked about at World Cup, is like, no, I've done this before. I can do that. And we need that resiliency as athletes because the environment that I want to coach in and that I want to be in is going to be hard. And I say that we wouldn't be doing if it was easy. No team gets a bronze medal at the Paralympics because everyone on the team now is still part of that, right? Like the legacy we built carries forward. Nobody gets that by doing easy. Show up and work hard. And I would challenge people to do that when no one is looking, when you're at the gym by yourself as well. Bring that mentality. What's worth 2 points? Absolutely nothing. But how do you bring that mentality all the time?
Actually.
Right?
Exactly. And I think my last point to the team right now is just the gap in like skill and just like the way that we train. And I guess we could like tie this into parasport at large, but there's so much like skill gap. We talked about new people on the team, or someone like me is playing for 12 years, but volleyball longer than that. Like people coming in and playing above their pay grade and in situations that's like way higher than what they're capable of or what they've ever been a part of. So that's just the nature of parasport, of sitting volleyball in Canada. And that's, I mean, maybe you can speak to that from a coaching lens, but it's very interesting to think about how to develop people in the sport and then have them play alongside people who are very experienced and how to navigate that on a team, because it's challenging in some respects as the captain, but I'm sure like coaching it is a very challenging
and
different.
I could go so many ways with this answer. So in the big picture answer across Canada is, so people understand we have a gap, Heidi's saying, in someone who's a 3-time Paralympian, multiple people on our team, 3-time Paralympian, gotten awards at events, a medal at the Paralympics, to someone who's never played, coming to it, not now, but coming to a training camp for the first time in the same gym. So the answer to that is we need a development program, which Leah, one of our assistant coaches, that is part of her role now, and she is leading a development camp in January in, I believe, the GTA in Toronto. That's what we need. The teams that are ahead of us right now have development programs. They have a space for young athletes with a disability to play. So we need that. It can be mixed gender. It can be whoever wants to play. It can be non-disabled and disabled play. In my opinion, we just need a space for people to play more often so they're not becoming fast-tracked. But let's say there's the example of someone who's either played indoor before or acquired a disability that's super athletic. It's just going to happen in parasport. We see it on the other teams as well, where there are going to be far less experienced athletes in the same gym. And that's the hardest part, is how do you enter them into a training environment where they may not play much. They may just be serving. They may be working on the side with a coach. They may be getting in a little bit in, let's say, the back row in position 1 because the ball won't go there as much once we start playing wash. And they're like, hey, coach, this is so hard. The ball keeps coming to me. I feel embarrassed. And then why am I not getting to play? This is not what I'm used to, because a lot of the times people don't have high performance sport experience. So they're coming in like, this is unfair. You're picking on me. So one, it takes a lot of resiliency from the athlete to want to be great and to want to push and really to be like brush it off, right? Like, oh, next. So it's hard. It's very, very hard. I'm sure.
Just take it.
Just take it. I'm sure no athlete really feels like that, but you kind of have to have that attitude. And then you really, really need to have athletes that want to work, that want to put in the work when they're not in the training environment so that they can improve on those skills. But for me, it's something that I haven't quite, I'd say, completely figured out. coaching, but trying to add, like I said, points or difficulty to drills, or to, if we're doing like something technical in the warm-up, pairing people together that have more equal skills, making you guys, for example, pass 20, the others would be passing 10, and then the same thing within larger drills. And I would suggest to anyone who's coaching, if you have access to more coaches in your gym and you're coaching parasport, to split into 2 courts. We started doing that quite a bit, splitting based on not only skill level, but what are targeted gaps for each group, and then bringing people up to speed. And I'd say we have a few athletes on the team where you've seen like huge learning curves, and then they're starting to catch in some areas and there's still gaps in other, and that's going to be normal. But I think that was evident to the people who, the athletes and the other coaches that saw us at the zonal, saw us in Austin, and then saw us again at World Cup. They're like, what the heck? How have these athletes developed and grown over time? Well, we put in the effort, and they put in the effort too. But you really got to focus on the technical first before the tactical, right? And it's like, I know it's old, but the research is super old, but the 10,000 hours rule. How are you going to catch that? So you got to do it somewhere and learn a brand new sport. But for me, the technical foundation of, does the coach even know how to coach the technical skills of sitting volleyball? Or is it like, oh, you do it like this? You can't be vague. You have to be so specific, and then add the layer of a disability. So now you got to be so specific on a right leg versus a left leg amputee for every single skill. So for me, it's learning how to coach and learning the sport. First.
And then
the nuances.
And the nature of also a national and decentralized program. Like, we're only together out of 10 months of the year every 4 weeks, every 4 to 5 weeks. So that's already limited time. And we want to now spend the time when we're together training as a team, right? Like working on our team goals and not technical. We don't want to be just like doing service to you for a billion hours. So how do you do those touches at home? How do you do them when you're by yourself? How do you video yourself, send it to your coach so you don't like reinforce bad habits? Like, how you literally cannot teach and have eyeballs on everybody across the country who's like learning the sport in a national team capacity. So it's just how to be creative and like, what are our gaps? And just like, we're honestly just making it up as we go, kind of, to a degree.
It's a big piece of the off season now for myself, which is, I think, the first year where I'm not like thinking and planning what's next or trying to recruit athletes, because we have Leah and Dion now doing that. I'm really wanting to work on mentoring the coaches that we already have who are training our athletes. And so that's my now next week. Let's get the emails created. Let's get documents created that I can share with them, video clips, all of that, so we can upskill them to know what we're teaching in our national team training environment, get those coaches out to our national, some have come in the past, but out to our national team training environment, and then find more coaches that want to coach sitting volleyball. So if people are listening right now that are a volleyball coach or that are interested, you will need to do work. You will need to get coaching levels, but let me know. Reach out. I want to mentor everybody. I want to teach this game. I'm super passionate about it. There is World Paravolley courses as well that you can take. There's e-learning modules that start with volley slide and go all the way up to now a level 3. And I'm part of that programming. So I think that that's how you grow the game. Yes, we need more athletes, but we need more people to coach these athletes once we get them. So huge gaps right now in our country is, okay, athletes, but once we find athletes, where do they play? And who can coach them?
I had a meeting with another athlete rep last night, and just a couple, like a presentation with you last week, a coaching clinic, a couple things. And I was saying, in every conversation I have, but specifically last week, it's increasingly asked, where can people play sitting volleyball? And I hate that the answer is nowhere. So just, that is very frustrating to me. And that just ties into a global and national and Canadian conversation about parasport and grassroots and all these things. But I think it's just disheartening that the only way you can play the sport right now in Canada is in a national team capacity. So that is what I was saying.
Or in our regional centers, which are really not fully developed yet. But I do think that once those get established, I'm happy to be involved, but Leah's role as well moving forward is to develop more of like the teams we see in other countries, where it's a combination of non-disabled and disabled athletes or people with impairments who play together on a team. I think that's how we get started in those regional development centers, so we build, and then we can have like a little mini championships, in my opinion. So
I have so many thoughts and ideas about
exactly.
that.
I know. So many.
Okay, the two other things we were gonna touch on are just, the unfortunate lack of government funding in sport. That doesn't have to be very long. We can just
You know a lot more
acknowledge
than
it.
me
I know more than you.
about.
Do you want to say what you think you know?
I think I know that our government didn't give
Yeah.
us any more money in the budget for sport. And how long does that budget go for? I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
So basically the last increase to government sport to sport funding from the government was like in 2005 or 2006, which is the same as the current budget is now, same amount of money since those years. So this budget that just came out, the ask from the sports system was about 144 million increase, and that didn't happen. But essentially, due to inflation, the budget we're currently operating at is like not the same as it was in 2005. So the 144 million ask was basically just to level out and be able to operate at the same level. So it is an increase, but it actually was just to level the playing field, but just to, be able to pay the bills, right? So that's really extremely unfortunate, and it's not surprising from the current government and just the focus on economy and infrastructure. Like, it's just not surprising, but I think it's extremely disappointing. And I mean, I'll just give one caveat, like the Northern Super League, like the new women's professional soccer league in Canada, got a lot, I don't know the number, but X million in funding, but it wasn't Sport Canada funding. It was through like a grant economic development like branch of the government more so, and it was a loan, to my knowledge, to develop sport in the sense that it's developing a league, becoming sustaining, becoming economically viable, etc. So that, just to clarify for people, that was not Sport Canada funding exclusively. What we're talking about is there was no Sport Canada increase into the sports system to be able to operate national sport organizations, Canadian Olympic Committee, Canadian Paralympic Committee, etc.
And from what I saw on Instagram, so these sources can be skewed, but we are right now operating at 10 times less than our competitors. And that's like, I think, the lower level competitors.
Yeah.
That we want to compete with. Of course, we want to be all the way at the top, but like, okay, awesome. We like the lack of value in sport in our country outside of professional sport and really hockey. I'm sure we could list a few others, but it's just so sad. It's just not part of our identity, I guess.
And I think people think it is. And I think Canadians on average have a pretty strong national identity to sport. And I mean, you said hockey, okay, to certain sporting moments, or thinking about even the summer Olympic game, thinking about Summer McIntosh and the swimming and Penny Alexiak, big names and stuff like that. I think the perception is maybe, or the men's 4x100 relay winning gold. I think there's this perception to some degree that sport is really is successful in Canada or doing well.
It's successful, but are they making money?
Here, much level. Yeah. And those are the big names and have sponsorships and are doing well. But I think the perception is that trickles down or implies that the Canadian sports system is thriving and doing great. And that's not super the case for the average athlete at a national level, let alone lower.
Yeah. I was going to say thriving despite funding and thriving because of funding are very, very different things.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's within our nature and our culture, we're tough. It's cold. We can do, we can do hard things. I said that about sport. We love to do hard things, but we would like to be supported while we do it. So we're super appreciative of the Sport Canada funding we get and the Own the Podium funding and the Volleyball Canada funding. But the people that are even above them making the decisions within our government, it's just shocking. The Winter Games are coming. Everyone will be excited and turn on their TV and wear Canada clothes. But where the hell is the money to allow our athletes to actually focus on sport and not have a full-time job and focus on sport, especially winter athletes? Those individual sports that are small, it's hard.
And that just begs the question, what is the responsibility then of the funding and of government funding? Is it to be an income to allow you to be an athlete full time, or is it
Not in our
not. And I
country.
mean, every sport and every athlete has different expenses. But for example, like bobsled athletes, cost them like 30, 40 grand to ship their bobsled like one way. Like that's absurd. The nature of sport, of individual sport especially, is a lot of individual sport athletes leave sport in massive debt. This is not a economically viable situation. So
No.
Is that the responsibility of the government? I don't know. But then we can just start to call on the private sector and sponsors
that too.
to step up too. There is clearly, as we just said, a funding gap, but which needs to increase to literally be able to operate national team sport at a higher and broader level.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot be operating at 10% of our counterparts or less than.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and true, because private funding is also not something that's like filtered immediately into sport as much as the US, for example, sponsorships, etc., sports leagues. So good times.
So this is a big question and a big theme, and who wants to sponsor us? I guess
exactly. Where the money at? Okay, wrapping it
last
up
question.
Here?
Wrap it up.
What's the last question?
What's next?
Yeah, you wrote to come. I was like, what's to come?
Is that what I wrote?
What's next? I wrote
you
next.
said, and then you wrote what?
Oh, I wrote what?
Like, what do you mean? Valid question. I don't even know what I mean. So, what's next?
We're in our off season. Yeah. We're in our off season, like from our team. So we have some more downtime. It's the holidays. But yeah, we're going to interview some guests, get back into a routine, I think is important. I'm traveling right now, and so we're learning how to do this remotely. We're learning how to use the mic, which, apologies everybody, you're going to hear some
change
audio.
Switch up.
It sounds the exact same to me, so I have no idea, but we're working on it. We're going to get back into a routine and hopefully continue all the way through till LA.
Yeah.
It's the plan.
LA, Los Angeles, 2028. That's what's to come.
Exactly.
That's the goal. But yeah, off season. I mean, I'm practicing right now a couple times a week, working on all my gaps.
Love it.
Working with Pierre, doing technical things, doing lots of conditioning and lots of weird like movement patterns over and over and over and over and over 1,000 times.
Love it.
That's all I got. I'm excited. Awesome. Okay, thanks everybody for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully, I don't know, hopefully what, but hopefully it was nice for you. And it was nice for us.
It was a little casual.
It's good.
We're just getting back into it. So hope you enjoyed it. We're back ×2.
×2. No pump fakes. No pump fakes today. I'm just going to say see you next time, and that to be undetermined when that is, but
deal.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.